Star Wars 7x7 episode 2021. Alright, the Oscar nominations have been made. Rise of Skywalker got a couple of them, and so let's talk about what it was nominated for, how that compares to previous Star Wars movies, and also let's give a tip of the hat to one particularly special nominee. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. So here we go, The Rise of Skywalker nominated for 3 Academy Awards, and they are Best Original Score, Best Visual Effects, and Best Sound Editing. There is another category that they were nominated for in the past, Best Sound Mixing, and the nominees in that category are all the same as the ones in the Sound Editing category, except for Ad Astra, which replaced The Rise of Skywalker in that particular category. So 3 Academy Award nominations for The Rise of Skywalker, and that's lower than any of the other sequel trilogy movies. The Rise of Skywalker got 3, The Last Jedi got 4, and The Force Awakens got 5. However, that does do better than either the standalone movies. Rogue One was nominated for 2 Oscars, and Solo: A Star Wars Story was nominated for 1. Those 3 nominations also match the highest total that was achieved by a Star Wars movie in the prequel trilogy. Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith both got 3 nominations. Attack of the Clones only got 1. But as far as Oscar nominations go, nothing tops the original trilogy. Empire and Jedi both got 4 nominations, and the original Star Wars had 10 nominations. As far as wins go, well, it depends on your point of view. The last time a Star Wars movie won an Oscar was a Special Achievement Award that was won by Return of the Jedi in the 1984 ceremony. And yes, there have been technical achievements that have been won by Lucasfilm or related companies. But the last time there was a win for a competitive Oscar was for The Empire Strikes Back. Not that they're not all competitive, but I mean like in the main television production, that particular set of categories. The last time a Star Wars movie won was for The Empire Strikes Back, and that was in the category of sound mixing. As far as the original Star Wars, I gotta look at my notes, but it also won a Special Achievement Award and 6 of the 10 competitive nominations, including Best Sound Mixing, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, Best Visual Effects, Best Film Editing, and Best Original Score. That was the 6. So there you go. Is it possible that this is the first time a Star Wars movie is going to win an Oscar in one of the main production competitive categories in 40 years? Wow. That's kind of crazy to think about, but it's certainly possible. And I guess technically it would be 39 years, but be that as it may. We've got 3 more chances for Star Wars to win an Oscar, at least the Skywalker Saga to win an Oscar. And that all being said, I want to take a couple of minutes to pay tribute to one particular nominee, and I'm going to do that right after the break. Stay tuned. Hey Rebel Rouser, I've made some changes to the asteroid belt level at patreon.com/SW7x7, and they are all with sponsors in mind. So if you want to get the word out about your business, your product, your service to a dedicated Star Wars audience, then please check out patreon.com/SW7x7 and look for the asteroid belt level for details. Again, that's patreon.com/SW7x7. Welcome back. So the person to whom I want to pay tribute is the maestro himself, John Williams. John Williams has now been nominated for an Oscar for his scores for 6 of the 9 Skywalker Saga movies. Just a quick reminder, he did not do the scores for Rogue One or for Solo: A Star Wars Story. There were certain creative contributions and inspirations, but that was not his. John Powell and Michael Giacchino. Oh gosh, I know I've messed up the pronunciation of Michael's name. Sorry about that. Giacchino? Giacchino, that's what it's supposed to be. Anyway. So, John Williams, I got to thinking about this and wondering why was he not nominated for any of the prequel era movies? And so I went and looked back, and as opposed to, his previous nominations, there were, generally speaking, multiple movies that he had worked on in those same years. And granted, he won for Star Wars in the same year that he also did the soundtrack for Close Encounters of the Third Kind and was nominated for that too. But in 1999, he was nominated for the score for Angela's Ashes, all right? So there's one, and he also did The Phantom Menace that year, naturally. And I gotta look at my notes because this gets wild. In 2002, he did the score for Minority Report, for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and for Catch Me If You Can, and he was Oscar nominated for Catch Me If You Can. And in 2005, he also did the scores for War of the Worlds, Memoirs of a Geisha, and Munich, and he was nominated for both Memoirs of a Geisha and Munich. So the man was busy, and I guess if you have to make some choices about nominations, well, yeah, I would certainly want to advocate for the Star Wars nominations, but I can see why the Academy would pick some of those other ones for sure. And this also, by the way, is his record-breaking 52nd Oscar nomination. Wrap your head around that. As to whether he can win, well, he's going up against 4 films and 4 composers who worked on films that are all nominated for Best Picture. So, yeah, that doesn't necessarily help the odds. That includes the scores for Joker, Marriage Story, starring Adam Driver, 1917, and Little Women. So, let me give you names. Alexander Desplat for Little Women, Thomas Newman for 1917, Randy Newman for Marriage Story, and here we go with the pronunciation, Hildur Gofnadóttir for Joker. So, oh man, tough competition, but here's hoping. Anyway, there you go. That'll do it for our look at the Oscar nominations for The Rise of Skywalker, and tune in on February 10th to Star Wars 7x7, and we'll tell you how it all turned out if you don't catch the actual Oscar show on the 9th. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.